Hey, everybody. Welcome to the second episode, second ever episode of the Soul Goals video podcast. I am so excited today to bring to you one of my greatest friends. I don't know how long we've known each other. Here he is. Yes. Adam, do you know when we met? It's probably been,
You know, I met you at yoga, right?
oh my gosh, that was eons ago.
Yeah, like when you used to teach for Hot Yoga Plus,
Oh, that
which
was in another lifetime. Oh, I loved that gig though too. That was great. And
yeah,
you are a yoga instructor as well as a kickbox instructor, just kind of a whole sidebar right there, right?
I haven't taught a class in a minute, but I definitely miss it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and your classes were just I mean, they were hard, but they were like when you got done with them, you're like, I'm a champion. Like I can walk out of this room and do anything.
Awesome. Well, good. Mission accomplished.
I would have
Mission
to say
totally
that's like
accomplished.
2013 maybe.
Dude, look, we're talking 10 years.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
maybe even earlier than that, cause
Yeah,
like
potentially. We go way back.
yeah.
I really I enjoy getting to know you better and better every time I meet you and work with you and other things that we work with too. But the thing that strikes me the most when I do talk to you about the things that you have going on is your positivity coming from where you came from. Your platform, your foundation, and how you can be so uplifting to people due to where you came from. I mean, and you are directly one of the people that I would look at as being a motivator and inspiration. And I'm not saying that tongue in cheek kind of cheesy kind of crap.
No, I know you that's not you. You're not a
Yeah,
cheesy
no, it's
person.
just it's very it's very I, and I don't know, it's very refreshing. I think that probably would be the word for it. Um yeah, so I'm just totally putting the cart before the horse right here. Adam is a musician and not only a one faceted musician, but a broad musician across many genres. Like you've been involved in country music. I know we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we started out with music was in a punk band. Is that right?
Yep, when I was 16, 15 and a half, started
Okay.
started playing music for my church. They needed a bass player, they needed a guitar player, they needed a drummer, so I just learned how to do all of it.
So you didn't know how to do it.
No, no one
Okay, see, I
taught
just
me.
learned something else about you today. That's
Yeah,
awesome. So you started in church
yep,
and from that went to a punk band?
yeah.
Okay, so tell me about how all that like who came to you and said, "Dude, we need somebody to do music." And what made you decide that I'm going to be the one to do it?
At a young age, I always like was obsessed with music. It was the oldies for me. My grandma, I'll never forget, bought me a little bike radio. This is how old I am. It was like a bike radio, or you can clamp it on your front handlebars. And the only station that came in was KC 95, which was rock and roll, like AC and ACDC, and then the oldie station. And I
Yes.
always loved listening to the oldie station. And then just kind of fell in love with music. And I found punk rock when I was like maybe 12 or 13. And so I had always been interested in playing music. And then I got an opportunity with my church. They're like, hey, need a guitar player, we need a bass player. Like, well, those are kind of similar, you know? So if I know how to play guitar, I know how to play bass. So then, like, no, we need a drummer. I don't know how to play drums, but I got rhythm. So I'll try it. And so, right. I mean, granted, like, it'd take me maybe like 2 Pacifico beers on a beach to play drums in front of someone right now.
Okay.
But,
but,
but
but if you had to, you could.
yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
But I pride more in guitar, and that's, you know, mainly my passion there is, well, all of it really, music. I mean,
Yeah. Where would you say your roots started at? Like in like as a 12-year-old, what made you interested other than just the oldies that you listen to on the radio? I mean, what made you say, I like this enough to pick up a guitar? Because like I think about other people that I know that, oh, I like this genre of music and I like to sing along with it in the car. And you know, my grandmother played it for me. But like what motivated you to say, this is really a fire inside of me that I want to do.
I had a I'll never forget. I was a freshman in high school, and I was friends with all the seniors at the time. Um, and my friend Tony Saputo, he now owns a bar in St. Louis, old school homie of mine. But he gave me my first guitar and my first little amp that clipped on my belt there.
Oh,
And that's when I first started playing music um, for my school, which was a Baptist school. So they needed a guitar player. Same with my church that I went to, which was a Pentecostal church. They needed a guitar player. Um, but to answer your question, when I was 12 or so, I saw this film called SLC Punk, and it was a movie about Salt Lake City punks and the upbringing of punk rock in Salt Lake City. And the first scene of the movie is these punk rockers like creeping up on these rednecks, these like racist rednecks, and then they just beat the can I say shit?
you can say whatever. I don't
Yeah.
care. Yeah.
They just beat the shit out of these guys. And I'm not condoning, like any sort of fighting or beating someone up, but for some reason that was just like, yeah, fuck these rednecks. Like these people
Yeah.
are like, and I don't know, I just felt connected to like punk rock. It's
Okay.
like almost like, oh, these are my people. They're not accepted. People make fun of them. Like this is a different way of life. And I just connected with that for some reason. I just felt like it was like, oh, these are my people. In the music in the movie, it's just like grungy, like I'm just like, yeah, this is awesome.
So you talk about it being your people and kind of the ones pushed over to the side. Did you feel that way? Was that kind of
I
your
guess.
MO?
I guess. I mean, growing up, I was always told that I was different, um, and and my mom and stepdad didn't know really how to take it at that time. They'd threaten me, sending me to military school or like doing all these things. I didn't know why I was different. I was good at sports, but it wasn't really my passion.
Yeah.
I knew there was something else, and when I found guitar, it was the summer of '69, played till my fingers bled. It was like, and that just
Great
felt,
song.
yeah, and
Oh,
it felt so natural and like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I remember when I was raised in a Christian home, so I wasn't able to listen to like a bunch of secular music. I was forced to like listen where my parents would sit me down and underline, even in a Christian band, underline the words that this is not something you should be listening to, and this is all this. And so
oh,
there's a lot
wow.
of protection and like scared that I'm gonna be this crazy individual, and they're right.
There
Growing up, like, and I just knew that at a young age. And so I don't know, maybe that's where that came from. It was just like um the needing to not necessarily be accepted, but just to accept yourself and how different you are. And you can't really, explain that. It's just like that's kind of the way that
yeah,
the
just
ball
kind of
rolled.
innate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, like,
Yeah.
born within you. Like, that's
Yeah.
that's kind of what I say, like, soul goals. It's written on your DNA through your soul that you bring in, you know? So, it's definitely something that has been a part of you for obviously a very long time. Um, so now I know you as a very successful DJ, and I'm interested if you can give a little bit of some pathway about how you went from the Baptist church
Okay.
to the punk band to DJ, because can I share, like, what you've been doing
Yeah, of
recently in the
course.
last few years?
Of
Like,
course.
yeah, you've been the DJ for Dierks Bentley on the road. Like, that's a pretty amazing gig. Like, when I see pictures and I see your social media posts, I'm like, "Oh my god, like, I know him." It's amazing. And Dierks is a great guy too.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, look at all those genres. So, how do you define eh, not how do you define where you fit in that, because I don't think that you fit comparatively to what you just said. It's just where you are. It's just kind of where you float. But what was your path going from one specific thing to the next to ultimately kind of where you are right now, which you're not a country DJ necessarily, but what you bring is a whole other element that we can get into in a little bit too.
I'll try to like not go like the whole story,
Okay.
but coming back to the punk rock days and playing for church, and being, the sheltered Christian boy, I wasn't able to go to concerts or anything like that. So I remember the first time I snuck out of my house was when I was 15, and there's this band called MXPX, and they're a Christian punk rock band. And so there's no way they're my favorite band. I had pictures, you know, plastered up on all my walls, everything. I worship this band, like, um, and now I'm, friends with the lead singer, which is
Oh my
really
gosh,
cool.
that's awesome.
But snuck out of my house, said that I had church band practice, and ended up going to the show. And it was that moment where I knew that I wanted to do music for the rest of my life. It
Oh,
was
that's
like I
awesome.
saw this dude take his bass off his body, throw the bass up in the air, twirled around, caught it on the last note, and I was like, man, I got chills thinking about it. I was like, that's my future. Like
Yeah.
this, I grew up thinking I was going to be a mechanic, and my mom's like, it takes a lot of math. And I was like, I hate math.
Mhm.
But music, and so I took that, really applied myself, started a band. We toured with Warped Tour 2 years. We were sponsored by Verizon with the Green Day tour that opened up for Jimmy Eat World, and I
Oh
forget
my
the other
gosh.
opener. We did that, and then we all kind of grew up around like 2021. We got back from tour, and the guys, we were Christian boys. We're all Christian boys, and so some of us got into drinking, and it was fun, but also like I'll never forget, I lived in this house and I heard my drummer and bass player upstairs, partying and stuff. And I'm down here not knowing how to work a studio, but it's my first, box, and I'm trying to record all this stuff, and I loved it, And so I ended up quitting that band, moving to Nashville because I was a main singer songwriter, and actually started another band before that, but whatever, I won't get into that. Um, but ended up moving to Nashville to be a singer songwriter. I went down that road for a couple of years, and I picked up DJing when I was in St. Louis. I was DJing, for this promoter because my band was pretty popular in St. Louis, and so we had a big following. People would show up on the east side between two strip clubs. This place called the Oz in
Okay.
East St. Louis, and they would show up, come see me. And I was like, I'm actually good at this. I'm actually good at DJ. So I moved to Nashville with that, kind of like in my pocket, and still having the dreams of being a singer songwriter. And so at 20, like 12, 13, I think it's 2013, right around when we met, I was like, you know what? Like, if I just really apply myself as a DJ and not just keep it kind of like just interested and like really commit to it, I could actually do something different than I've never done before, and have this journey that I don't even know what will take me. But like, it's as simple. I believe firmly it's as simple as you're either interested or committed in doing anything. So it's like I committed myself to being a DJ, and then I started winning Best DJ. I think it was number 3, then number 2, and then I won number 1 in Nashville for 5 years in a row.
Hey,
So it was like,
and that is no small feat.
no, and that's Music City. Like
Yeah.
everyone moves from around the world to go there to write music, and
Yeah.
it was a perfect place, perfect time. Moved in Nashville 2011 when it was, starting to boom. And
Yeah.
I feel confident enough to say that, it was the parties, it was the friends, it was you, there's a yoga class, that people would take to go to Nashville and be like, this place is amazing. I just took them best yoga class from Dawn, and I'm going out to party with, my friends, and everyone's so nice, So it's like, we have a lot to do, I feel like, with the growth of Nashville.
Yeah.
And we've kept that legacy going, which is, keeping the town, you know, just blossoming to what it is today.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. This is great insight. I am interested also to talk a little bit more about why you chose Nashville to move to as a singer-songwriter, versus LA or New
LA or New
York.
York. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought about that. Those are a little bit farther than St. Louis, and my grandma and my mom are my family, so they live in St. Louis, which is 4.5 hour drive.
Mhm.
So the first time I moved to Nashville, I was making 2 trips a month to go back, and it was the DJ for $50 fucking night, which is nothing. Um, but you do it out of love.
Yeah.
It's not for the money, and money will come. You just got to believe in it and just enjoy the process while you do it.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so yeah, I chose Nashville just because it was super close, and I even visited Nashville, I think, like 15 times before I left St. Louis, just because I'm one of those people that's like not over careful, but just like I need
Just
to
gonna make sure.
make sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to.
So
I need to.
talking a little bit about your family, I know you just brought them up and you are super tight because I know you talk about them a lot. Super close with your mom and your grandmother, but you don't call her grandmother. That's a pretty formal name. What do you call her?
Grandma.
Just I mean, I don't know. So your relationships with them, obviously, that you were driving to St. Louis to do a DJ job for $50 just to spend time with them. How have they been instrumental in your life so far and in shaping where you are and what you chose to do and kind of the person that you become? Because I don't know that they decide who you are. You decide who you are. But
Right.
I think that those people along the way that you feel so tied with and so invested with can have such a huge impact on you. So what's that? Speak to that a little bit.
You know, I have two different stories of their outlook on me and two different, um, you know, roles that I played. So when I was in a punk rock band and I started, I said, I'm not going to college. My mom was like, yeah, I didn't, I'm not going to pay for that anyways. I was like, well, perfect.
It worked.
so,
It worked.
so I'm going to go on Warp Tour and I'm going to, I'm 19. I'm going to go on Warp Tour. Um, and they didn't understand, you know, they didn't
Yeah.
understand what the hell that was,
Yeah.
what I was doing. And it wasn't until I started being successful to where they're like being supportive, to where like after coming off a Warp Tour, I come home and my mom has a MySpace profile and a tattoo from my tattoo artist, and
Oh,
and
wow.
shoots me a message saying "sup," like SUP, and I was like, "All right, cool, mom." Mom's like
We're
trying,
good.
like this is amazing, she's accepting,
Yeah.
kind of understanding, and then with the DJ stuff, and grandma was always there too, white hair. She was in the background when I played punk rock, and that was when my dad and grandpa were around. They were there too,
Mhm.
and just the best, just supportive, and then DJ career. She'd never been to a big show before I brought her to, me opening up for Dirks, um, which was amazing to see. And she was an absolute hit, like with
Oh,
her white
did you
hair.
brought
And
her on stage with you?
I brought her on stage. Yep. Um,
Oh,
but she doesn't understand it. And, my mom doesn't understand it either. And this is I'm embarking on a new journey right now of getting more into the producing side to where like I'm writing music for other people and also releasing a new song this Friday, called Bones, which is really great. Recorded a music video on it too. Should be out in about 2 weeks.
it's
Um,
amazing.
but yeah, my mom still doesn't understand the whole DJing thing, and
Yeah.
neither does my grandma. But like, also, I'm still learning.
Well, I
It's-
think we always are. Like, I think you're
yeah,
always winging it. I think we're always trying to figure it out as we go. I think that's just part of the process because if we knew everything, either one, it would scare us shitless. I
it'd be
wouldn't do it.
boring.
We would be
Yeah,
like, peace out, I'm done. Or if we knew it, we would be like, jump in and we know too much and there's no spontaneity and there's no I like spontaneity is a great thing. I think it's how we learn about ourselves as well, right? The
totally.
challenges that we have that we have to dig in and go, okay, got myself in that one, got to figure that one out. All right. But if I would have known that, then I would have planned ahead and all that stuff. So,
Right, and then that I feel like you're exactly right. I feel like it'd just be boring, like if
mhm,
everyone knew, and this is something I remind myself too, because like with anything, like life's a roller coaster. You go through the ups and downs, and it's like we have the choice when we go to the downs to just stay down there and sulk in on it, but like understanding that and trusting the process of like, not knowing is like one thing I, question myself is like, you know what? Enjoying this process of getting to where you're going to be and just believing that you're going to get there, you will get there, right? You need to put in the work, you need to put in the time, the effort and energy, and trust the process, because like you can get tangled with it's not working, it's not working, and then before you know it, it's not working,
yeah,
so you can listen to people say this, people say that. I know parents mean the best, but number one thing is, like we said earlier, only you got to know.
It's here. Yeah.
You show them. And once you show them, then they like, oh, then they'll understand.
I get it. Yeah. And I think you speak to that whole trusting the process. I think that's the hardest part. I think the elbow grease that people put into it and the bordering on obsession of doing so much for your craft, whatever that is, and knowing that this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, they got that down pat because that's predictable. But then you go into this whole, I got to just let it go and trust it's going to happen. Oh, like that's what can drive people crazy. And that's
Right.
where a lot of people can step off the train. But I do know one thing about you is that you've always been that trusting the process part. Like it's always been a piece of you. How do you do that? Like how do you just choose that? Allow that?
You know, it's just something deep within.
Mhm.
It's really something I can't like write out, more than just like being in touch with your inner self and your intuition, and like knowing that there's something bigger and better next, or like this is coming. I don't know how. I know I'm going to be there. I write my goals down and they might not hit right where I want them to, but they're going to get fucking close,
Right.
like,
Right.
or if it's not the thing that God or whoever you believe in is going to be right then and there, like if that's the whole process, and like you, you know only only and trusting that that the feeling is inside, and it's got to be put out, and a lot of people are kind of scared to like be vulnerable like that, and
That's the word. Yes, here to be vulnerable enough to be like,
for fail
okay.
to fail, really,
Yeah.
and that's what makes, I think that's what makes me great on stage too, is because I'll take risks.
Yes.
I won't. I don't like having a uh, planned set list. I don't like shortchanging anyone. I enjoy doing the transfers myself. And granted, when I'm playing on huge stages with video walls and everything, I will have to have some things like pre-programmed. But um, yeah, just the journey. Just trusting it, just the
Mm.
feeling it. Like just knowing, because no one knows except for you.
Yeah.
And you can talk about it all day, and you can, but actions speak louder than words and stuff too. So it's like, I don't know. I'm still learning throughout the whole thing, and to bring back up what you're saying is just, I think it's important to just believe and just like just trust the process, and to not be interested and to be committed, you know.
Oh, it's great to
So
not be just interested, but to be truly committed. And part
yeah.
of that commitment is trusting it.
Yeah,
So
and
figuring
that's
out what that is for you.
for sure, and that's like any
Ultimately.
relationship with anyone or anything,
Mhm.
like you either love someone, which is trust, and you're committed to that person, or you're
Mhm.
interested in loving them. And then there's just an interest, it's not the whole 110%. And
Wow.
I only know one way to be is 110%, whether it's, working out at kickboxing studio, teaching class, or like performing,
Yeah.
like I just flew back from Montana DJing for the granddaughter of Blue Bunny, ice cream.
Oh my gosh, how
And
fun.
this was a huge wedding and amazing vibes. This couple saw me open up the W in Nashville. They're like, if we ever get married, we want you as a DJ. So they hit me up, and point I bring this all up is just like, I showed up not knowing what I'm getting into, never been in this kind of situation before, but I'm gonna make the best of it.
Right.
And I'm gonna give these people my all. And they saw that, and they saw me play. So it's like, I don't know. I surround myself with people that I feel like that are, like minded too. A lot of people here in Miami,
Mhm.
a lot of my friends that are artists, whether photographers or DJs,
Mhm.
have the same similar passion. I think it's important to surround yourself with that too.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
whenever
To
you get
your
off the
point, you're in Miami. So let's talk about you have a kind of a dual role of living in Nashville part-time, living in Miami part-time, correct?
yeah,
You had to
I'm glad that you
choose.
bring that up because, like, with going with the trusting process, it's like as being top dog in Nashville, I'll still come back and have lunch with 14 of my friends, and we'll all talk. And I'll never forget the last time I was there, I had to remind, some of the homies, like, like when I left Nashville, like I was a father figure for a lot of people. I was a conduit for a lot of DJs that come together after we got done DJing to have lunch to
Mhm.
whatever, dinner. Um, and then when I left, a lot of that's missing. A lot of people don't know who to look up to anymore, and
Mm.
all this stuff. Granted, DJ Dirty Dan, my boy from Chicago, moved down. He's like the best DJ in Nashville right now. He's fucking awesome.
You're like the
Um,
godfather.
it's
Like
kind
are
of
you
weird,
like the
but
godfather of DJ in Nashville?
yeah,
You
kind
know?
of, yeah, yeah. And what,
The godfather.
ugh, and so like leaving everything, leaving the comfortability of having 5 gigs a night or
Mhm.
5 gigs a week, the comfortability of you know having everyone there, everything you need. I just knew it was time. It's time to move on. I felt like I hit a ceiling to where it was like my career can only go so far here.
Yeah.
Let me see what can go when I come to Miami and see someone like DJ Dirty or DJ Wonder or A Train or like these badass DJs here. It's like this is gonna help me up my game,
Yes.
because like let someone have number one DJ. If 5 years is enough for me. Like if I staying around for 6, I'm a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
let someone else win. Let someone else have their glory and shine. I'm here on my own personal journey, and for some reason, Miami's always been speaking to me, and so I'm here.
Yeah.
And like you said, just trusting that process, not necessarily knowing, how you're gonna get there, but just knowing that you're going to,
Yeah.
and um moving here is a big eye opener for me, and trusting the process because moving here not knowing anyone besides my best friend that I grew up with since I was 12. He lives like in Kendall, which is about 50 minutes away, but he helped pave the way here for me. But
Okay.
just trusting the process here. It's been hard, to be honest. No one pays here like
Mm.
I set the standard rate in Nashville for us DJs.
Mhm.
People are cutthroat here. It's just a whole different scene, and I'm learning, and it's
Mhm.
really been, what I'm talking about right now. It's really been challenging me, like, well, you know what, this is hard, but like if it was easy, like we said earlier, everyone would do it, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't be fun,
Yeah. And
so
then it makes it worth it to you when you have success.
yeah. I wasn't one to be handed anything. I came from a
Yeah.
lower middle class, been taught to like I had 3 jobs at one time when I was like 16, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and playing in a band.
Yeah.
Um, but like, yeah, working hard for it, like a lot of people these days, and I'm including myself, just want it now, 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 now. But like a lot of people, like you get a job in 3 months, you expect a raise, and then after 9 months, you expect to be the whatever. It's like people putting in the time. You just have to realize that like everything takes time,
Right.
and like you said, to agree with what you said is like putting in that time just makes you value it and
Mhm.
just cherish it so much more that my hard work did not go unnoticed. And like I I love those moments, because I
Well, it's
usually,
fulfilling.
yeah, like I come home if I had a amazing night, like I performed for CBS for the New Year's Eve special in Nashville this past New Year's.
Yes.
My mom was there. It was one of the proudest moments of my life. I looked
Oh.
to the side stage and she was like kind of tearing up because I was in
Oh,
front of like 230,000 people, which was my biggest show
love.
ever. Um, but yeah, just enjoying the whole ride,
Yeah.
even when it's dark in the
Yeah.
roller coaster
Yeah.
ride.
So
Not knowing, you're like,
way to
"Ugh."
segue into what I was gonna talk about next. That's great. What about those pivotal points, those points that are darker, right? Those places where you're like, you're hitting a wall and you're hitting a wall again and you're hitting the wall again, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's work related, whether it's goal oriented, whatever that is. What is maybe I should ask is what is the most pivotal point that you have found so far in your career, in your life, and if you could define what that pivotal point is, maybe you can give a little bit of some explanation about how you got through it too.
Um,
That's a loaded question. That's a biggie.
yeah, and it's like we're all still going through it, you
Yeah.
know? And it's not ever like, "Oh, I made it."
Yeah.
You know? It's always like, "All right, what's the next thing?" What, like, how can I be better, you know? So, um, I think going back to what we talked about is just being committed to it, even if you hit a wall, if you hit a wall, if you hit a wall, there's a reason for it and you learn from it.
Mhm.
And also staying with it. If you know, and undeniably, like my track record speaks for itself, like I was meant to do that.
Yeah.
I was meant to do music. I knew that more than anyone in the world. Someone can tell me growing up, "Hey, you're gonna be the next Jimi Hendrix or something," and I'll be like, yeah, I don't know, but like only I know,
Yeah.
So hitting those walls and going down that roller coaster where it's just completely dark and not knowing if you're gonna go up or down or
Mhm.
stop or whatever, I think I find excitement in
That's
that.
oh, wow, okay. Well,
It's like,
you said too, just a little bit ago that you learned something from the walls that you hit. So I think there's value in that too. Nobody wants to hit walls. I mean, I don't want to because I'm an impatient individual and I just want to get from point A to point B as fast as possible and as efficiently as possible. But you throw in obstacles and you hit walls, then you learn what works, what doesn't work. And the more than that, I think what you will allow and what you don't need anymore. So I think some of those obstacles can teach you what works, what doesn't work. What and this is completely off, that just kind of popped in. What would be something that you would completely be okay with throwing out of your life, of your experience? Like, is there anything?
honestly, like, um, something personally that I think a lot of us go through is like, um, just a form of wanting to be accepted,
Mhm.
you know, because like, granted, I'm not a country fan, and whatever, you guys, if you're watching this, good for you. I love that you love country. You can love bluegrass. You can love the sound of people hitting pipes. I don't,
Mhm.
whatever. Um, I think that, just like, just being there, just
Mhm.
like being there for the whole better of humanity, like just being showing up, and granted, I got hired because I wasn't a country fan, but like you can have all sorts of different kinds of music that you like. And I kind of got lost. I don't remember what you're talking about.
It's it's all good. I
I'm
knew the
sorry.
road you were going down. Um, what is one thing, if you could name one thing that you would just get rid of out
Oh
of
yeah,
your
that's right.
experience?
Yeah, the so with the country music, letting go of once I let go of like trying to be accepted with the country fans, like that's when my sets started getting amazing.
Yeah.
Because like I showed up like I'm not a country fan. What the hell do I play? Like I know Friends in Low Places, I know Boot Scoot and Boogie, I know like John Deere Green, a lot of the classics, and that's what I played. I played a lot of the '90s,
Mhm.
country music that my grandpa kind of showed me back in the
Mhm.
day. Um, but I would say that, yeah, and again, when I left that, that's when it started shining. Like
Yeah.
and I ask myself this all the time because I live in Miami, and here's my watch, here's my girl, here's my car, here's how loud it is, here's how much my shoes cost. This is who I know, and it's like at the end of the day, who cares,
Right.
like so like me walking around here is like I gotta remind myself that no one really cares. I mean, they do care, but like why do I care what they think is what I mean.
Yeah,
It's like,
more that, like, get rid of that "I have to be accepted" kinda thing.
yeah,
Yeah, and
and
it
that's
sounds
when
to
my
me like it started very young for you. Like, it was 12 years old and prior. from what you said earlier. And like defining your own path and being your own person again is an innate kind of thing that you found. And then
Yeah.
we get in those situations where you're like, "Oh, I have to be a part of this experience, and to be a part of this experience, I have to be X, Y, or Z."
Right.
Yeah.
And moving from Nashville and developing a sound that people still play today to moving to Miami, to which is a completely different sound. I moved here wanting to be accepted again. What do I play? What is this? What do people like? And it wasn't until I dropped all that too, to where like, you know what? I know it's a vibe. Whenever I play, you might hear a song that you've never heard before.
Mhm.
But you bet your ass, you me dancing, it's going to be a vibe. It's going to be different.
Mhm.
And things have been looking up for me ever since I dropped that. It was just like, hey, you're here. Only you can do this. Only you have a certain power about you.
Yeah.
Just keep trusting the process. Know that you're talented enough that you deserve all the great things in life, that all your hard work does not go unnoticed. And that when you hit those dark moments, that there's a light right at the end of the fucking tunnel. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
um,
Do you think would be one of the best things of your career so far? Like, again, cheesy word, highlight of your career, but like the thing that you go, "Damn, I'm proud of myself, man. That's so excited that that happened." And I can look back at it and go, "Oh,
there's a couple.
okay.
The first one was when I talked to Brian Ball, who runs Ernie Ball, and my first band won this Battle of the Bands contest for Warped Tour. We played the first date on Warped Tour, and then we decided to just follow the tour. Right, use our laminates from St. Louis. Chicago's the next date. Let's try it out. 5-hour drive. Cool. Go to Chicago Warped Tour. Here's the laminate. They let us in. Ooh,
Oh my
that's
gosh."
cool. Right? So then I was friends with another band that was from Chicago that we helped book when they came to St. Louis, and they had double booked themselves. And so I was able to, he brought me on my first tour bus. I'll never forget the smell of the bus pit. I was like, this is going to be my life one day. I don't know how,
Aw.
but this is going to be my life.
Mhm.
Brings me on the bus and was like, hey, we double booked. Here's the stage manager. Do you guys want to play the front stage to where everyone comes in? Right. And she's like, are you guys good? And like the guy was like, yeah, they're actually really good. They have a great following. They're about to come out. And they're like, cool. So we ended up playing. I got chills. We ended up playing like in front of like 4,000 people, which was one of our biggest shows at the moment. And we played our ass off. We were all
Mm.
so excited because
Mhm.
we've been through those walls and holes and fucking just hitting blocks. But like three of us together, I mean, whatever you believe, Bible says prayers, more powerful with two people or three.
Yeah.
And all three of us just had the same mentality. Go. I don't care how, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna go there and we're gonna get in there and we're gonna fucking play.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did.
That's amazing.
That was one that I was like, I can do anything. Like
Yeah.
if
Well, I mean, you had no plan. You just did it.
I just knew that's my life. Like I knew I needed to do this. this
Yeah, and you
there's
were
no other
around.
question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you also, like you said earlier, surrounded yourself with people that were like-minded and had the same kind of mentality and were in that same avenue of, let's fucking do it. Let's go." Yeah.
Having them right behind me, I was the lead singer guitar player, but having their support meant the world to me. And there's been moments where like I played sold out Madison Square Garden and I don't have my guys behind me to back me up. It's
Mhm.
me. And I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, this is pretty cool, bro.
Yeah, like,
Like,
this is working.
yeah, you're here. And
Yeah.
you tried to find your dressing room and you ran into Sandra Bullock,
Oh
like,
my gosh.
um, that was another moment too. Not the Sandra Bullock moment. That was but Madison Square Garden. Um,
Madison Square Garden.
yeah, but
Dude. Okay, so how did you get the gig with the Dirk Bentley tour?
um, just honestly, like showing up and just giving it your best, you know, like
Mhm.
110%, like I said earlier, is like super important. I feel like, you know, being committed to the craft, knowing that there's something bigger and better right around the corner. And, you know, I knew it. And when I got a call from Dirk Bentley's management saying, "Hey, we want to take you on the road," I was like, "Yeah, this is yeah, you know, like this is supposed to happen.
Yeah,
Of course, you know,
yeah.
of course, this is like this is it.
It makes sense.
This is what I worked hard for. You know,
Yeah,
this is why I don't give up. This is why people look up to me. You know, like because you just have to know. You don't have to know how.
oh, love that. Yeah,
You just have to know. Like trust.
yeah,
Be committed to your passion. You
yeah.
know.
You have to know, you don't have to know how. Gosh, no truer words have been spoken right there. Totally. Mic drop.
All right, I'll see you.
No, no, don't go anywhere yet. I'm not done. Okay, so I'll start wrapping it up a little bit. I just thought this was kind of interesting because knowing the path that you've gone through since before 12 years old, if you could go back and talk to 16-year-old Adam, what would you say? What advice would you
I'd say dump that girl. She's not good for you.
let her
Because
go?
oh my god, yeah, my first girlfriend, I was 15 and a half. She cheated on me with my best friend,
Oh, no.
after, like, 3 years. So that'd be the first thing I'd say, dump that bitch.
Okay, she's gone.
Second yeah, second off, I would say I mean, it's almost like I have the same mindset, you know? It's like, don't stop. Just,
Mhm.
like, keep believing and be aware, you know? Just,
Yeah.
like, things. Because I mean, I've met some people where I feel like I've lost the contact which I should have had. Like life will show you this, like, oh, hey, here's EMG music from you know whatever. Um, but then there's other things where it's like if you're aware and oh this email or this guy or like meeting all those millionaires in middle of Montana, it's like these people have their own companies, entertainment. Like you know, three people told me like you should network everyone around here. They just hired Maroon 5 and their guarantees $2 million. You know, like,
You're
but
like, "Yeah."
so yeah, to answer your question, I would say just keep going. Don't
Yeah.
stop, you know, just stay true to your heart and the way you feel and trust.
Mhm.
Don't be committed. Love. Don't fear.
Mm. Good stuff. Good stuff. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Um, so definitely not DJing 5 hours straight at uh you know, frat bar. Um, but also I don't hate it, but also pro to answer your question, producing, playing big festivals, like, I really look up to Diplo. Diplo's a big influence for me. He writes music, he also performs, does yoga, you know, like, I feel like he's got it figured out, and, that's, you know, who I look up to, and also, you know, looking up to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, too. It's totally.
You
Because, I
know?
mean, everything that you've gone through, everything that you've been through to get to where you are now, and it's not over. That's the
No,
cool
this
thing.
is just the beginning. I
Yeah.
mean, the new music I'm about to put out is, you know, my best work yet that I've ever done, and I've been doing music since I mean, I picked up my first guitar when I was, like, 15,
Yeah.
15 and a half. So,
This is
um,
me trying to play a little bit of the song, if I can get it to play.
we
Ah,
got, yeah. I mean, Dawn, if you think about it, that's 23 years.
yeah.
Jesus. I didn't even realize that. 23 years. There's 23-year-olds out there walking around by the time like, they were conceived by the time I picked up guitar. That's crazy.
It really puts it in perspective,
Yeah.
right?
That's wild.
All right.
23
So
years.
I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it, but before I do wanna have some more fun, I love, like, rapid fire questions. So
Yes.
I've sent you these, and I actually thought about throwing in an odd random one just for fun, but
Curveballs, please, all day.
curveballs. Well, let me
Yes.
go with what I got first, and then we'll
All
go
right.
from there. All right, so rapid fire question number 1, what is one of your hidden talents?
Um, Hidden talents, does that mean, like, no one knows?
Yes. Yeah, like you've never shared,
Oh, I
or
don't
that you've
know.
shared with just a couple of people, or that you've never thought is really as a talent.
Making myself laugh.
Okay, okay. That's
I make
good.
myself laugh all the time, and no one has to know because, like, I'll do things on the airport or in the airport or, like, on the train or just, walking, I'll say something to someone just see.
Just to see what they do.
Yes, I don't know if that's a hidden talent, but it's definitely, something I don't know. I would like to say, like, I'd like to whistle or something, but I'm not really good at that.
Okay.
Hidden
What
talent?
never fails to make you laugh besides yourself?
Seinfeld.
Oh, wow. What's
I
your
love
favorite
Seinfeld.
episode?
Probably the Hamptons
Okay.
or, the Chinese restaurant. That one's a good one.
That's very good. I
I
do give
know
you
all Seinfeld.
that one. What's your favorite holiday?
Flag Day.
Do I
I
have
think
to ask
most
why?
I'm gonna
Flag
be hippie.
Day.
I think most holidays are like Hallmark money makers. So it's
I
like
got
it's
you.
like Mother's Day. I treat my mom like every day is Mother's Day, if
Oh,
that
that's
makes sense.
perfect.
So it's like it doesn't, and same with my friends. It doesn't have to be their birthday or anything. I'll just show up and I saw this shirt you had to have, or like here's this. So Christmas again, whatever. But Flag Day, just because that's funny.
It was very good. I like that.
Just like that too.
All right, so this is gonna be a hard one for you probably to answer because I know you have one of each, but cats or dogs? You look and see who's around.
1 second.
Okay. This is gonna be really, really hard for him because he has the most adorable cat and the most adorable dog. And maybe he'll introduce us to each of them, but I mean, maybe he's just gonna come back with one of them, his most favorite one. We're gonna see. Oh, they're both there. This is amazing. Okay. Can I tell everybody what their names are? I think this is
Those
the
my
best part.
kids. Those are my kids.
They are so sweet. Can I tell everybody what their names are?
Yes.
Yogi and Boo Boo.
Yep.
There you
Yogi and
go.
Boo Boo.
Look at those presh. You've had those for a long time. Like,
They're
your pup there has been with you since, gosh, how old is?
she's she's going on 11. So
Oh.
she's a Christmas baby. She was born on Christmas.
She's a road traveler too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's been with me a little bit of everywhere. And Yogi is around the same age. He's about 3 months older, and I raised them both together. And I remember, talk about manifestation. I remember seeing Milo and Otis. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Remember that movie back in the day?
Totally.
And I was like, I'm gonna have a cat and dog one day, and they're gonna be best friends. And then, like, I don't know.
They're so fun. Okay, so you still haven't answered the question though. Which one, cat or dog? You can't really answer the question.
No, it's like saying who's your favorite kid.
It's true.
You know,
I didn't
some
think
day,
about that.
some days I'm like, yeah, no, but then I'm like, no, I can't. They're both my life. I love
Yeah,
them so much.
they're so sweet.
They are. They're very sweet. They're very, very great to me.
Well, I'll stop poking at the the cat and dog issue.
I
Tell
can't
me,
decide.
well, let's go 2 more yet. Oh, actually, I'm gonna go back to your pets here in a second, but summer or winter, if you had to choose a season?
Um, I hate the cold.
Ah,
I I grew up in St. Louis, snow all day in the wintertime. So that's why I moved to Miami. Is like
mhm.
I remember the first fall I had here or winter I had here, winter, I forgot that there was like season change,
Yeah.
and then I went back to Nashville and played a couple of gigs and I was like, oh, I need my jacket. I need,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, but
All right.
I would much rather sweat than be cold.
Same.
Hands down. Hands down.
Totally same.
Well,
Yeah.
you teach hot
Hot
yoga.
yoga. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. In the summertime, nonetheless, which is another kind of crazy notion, but it's what I love. Yeah. And last question, if your pet could talk, you choose one of them, what would they say about you?
Well, I always so Morgan Freeman voice would be Yogi's voice if he was able to talk.
Oh, I love it.
So just like a really old black man is how Yogi would speak. If they would say that, Yogi would say, "Give me more food,"
Okay.
and then Cheese would say, I need some sunshine," because she loves the sun. I don't know if that's because I raised them that way, but they both love just laying in the sun, getting that vitamin D.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
so sweet
they're
too.
both kind of like hippie cat and dog.
No, they're great. They're great. Hi. Well, I so appreciate you taking the time to speak to me today and to talk to everybody that may be watching this now and maybe watching it later about your goals, your soul goals, and how to access them in terms of believing, trusting. God, I think that's the biggest takeaway. It's trusting it and just really knowing and stepping into your skin. Yeah. And just doing it. And that self acceptance part is super, super important and letting go of the notion that you have to be one way or the other, right? You are inexplicably one of my favorite people. I love getting the chance to talk to you.
Dawn,
Good
thank
luck
you
in
so much.
good luck in everything that you do. And
Thank you for having me.
yeah,
You it's
absolutely.
it's it's great to see you again. It's been a minute and I'm looking forward to the next time. Do you
Me
have
too.
time for me in 2 weeks?
Yeah, yeah. Shoot me a
Awesome.
text.
Yes, I will.
Let's do it.
I love
Mwah.
you. Thank you so much. Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you.
Take care.